Now, in this Washington Post story about the sweeping Republican victory, there is a warning paragraph to all of us. Oh, there's Ron Fournier. Ron Fournier, because Matt Bevin was elected governor. Ron Fournier is sheer panic today. Well, because Hillary's not doing well. Her trust issues are way down. People don't like her. People don't trust her. And he thinks the Democrats are making the mistake that Hillary can beat anybody just because she's Hillary, just because she's a Clinton, just because he's got a Democrat, a D next to her name on the ballot. And he's worried that there's active dislike for her and that it's not a slam dunk and automatic. And he's been leading the crusade against her in terms of honesty and trust. But I'm telling you, this outcome yesterday has shell-shocked a lot of these people on the left, media and otherwise, for a number of reasons. A, that it happened, but you can't leave out the fact that their own polling predicted none of it was going to happen. So they are discombobulated and bamboozled on at least two different levels, which takes me to the warning paragraph here in the Washington Post story. And it may have some merit. Turnout was very low across the country. Republicans could overinterpret the results at their own peril. So you see, whenever the Republicans win, it's really not legit. These off-term elections, they don't mean anything. That's why you never hear about how badly the Democrats do in them, folks. Because as far as the drive-bys are concerned, off-year, midterm elections, what are we talking about? Dog catcher here? It doesn't matter. All that matters is that we're in the White House doing executive orders, and screw you. Everything else we can manage. We got the judges. We got everything else to fix what else goes wrong, so screw you. That's their attitude. As long as they've got the White House, if they could get the Senate back, I mean, they would be in Fat City. Well, the enthusiasm, yeah, but see, the enthusiasm gap, I think the Republicans are misunderstanding. They better be careful because the enthusiasm is not for them. And I'm talking about Republicans as defined by Washington Republicans. The enthusiasm is not for them. Now, there's enthusiasm for Matt Bevin. No, don't misunderstand. But this is also, starting in 2010 and again in 2014, now this is anti-Obama on parade. This is a full-fledged rejection of the Democrat Party, of its ideology, and of its president. That's what's going on. I don't care about turnout. They had an election, and people showed up and voted, and among those who voted, the Democrats got skunked. Now, the Democrats can rewrite that any way they want to make themselves feel better. But the results are real. They have lost seats galore. Republicans, 2/3 of state legislatures, in bicameral legislatures, 2/3 of the governorships or more. State houses equals grassroots. This is big. This is why it's all the more amazing to note that the Washington Republicans continue to do business with Obama. The Washington Republicans are continuing to prop him up. And yet Republican voters all over the country are saying, stop it. Stop him, stop the Democrats, and stop what you're doing. Now, this warning paragraph in the Washington Post. Republicans could overinterpret the results at their own peril. So don't feel all that hot about this win, because it really doesn't mean anything, because the turnout wasn't very big. The presidential election, exactly 1 year away, that'll have dramatically larger and much more diverse turnout. That's when we get our illegals voting, and that's when we pay our union people to go pick people up off the street and get them to the polls, and that's when you don't have a chance. And all of that works against the GOP. Serious structural problems persist. The Republican Party's still too white, it's still too male, and it's still too old. Hillary Clinton's political director, Amanda Renteria, tweeted a photo of a Vote Here sign overnight and wrote, "Wish more people did this today." meaning the turnout was low, not enough people voted, and the Republicans, but you're not in Fat City. You people are still too white, you're too male, and you're too old. Do they ever write of the Democrat Party deficiencies and problems after they win? It's amazing. And then they say there was a couple of bright spots. There were a couple of bright spots for the left in an otherwise dark night. In a stinging rebuke of Chris Christie, undercutting one of his rationales for seeking the presidency, New Jersey voters ousted 3 Republicans from the state assembly. New York Times writes, Republicans had hoped to build on Mr. Christie's political successes and cut into the Democrat majority in the chamber, where Democrats currently hold 48 of the 80 seats. Instead, the election became a sharp reality check for allies of the governor, who only 2 years ago won re-election by a towering margin. So the Democrats are being told by the Washington Post here, hey, it's not all bad. We really skunked Christie in New Jersey. And they think that's a bright spot for the left. It's also an eye-opener for Republicans. Is it not? And if you don't understand, think about it. Can't be expected to spell everything out here. Otherwise, you'd become intellectually dependent, and I don't want that. And welcome back, Rush Limbaugh here at 800-282-2882. If you want to be on the program, the email address is lrushbo@eibnet.com. Back to the audio sound bites here. We're going to start melding your phone calls in here after the break. Carol Costello this morning on CNN's Newsroom had a guest here, WDRB Eyeball News TV media columnist John David Dyke. John David Dyke, D-Y-C-H-E, if you're wondering. And they're discussing an op-ed that Dyke wrote comparing Matt Bevin to Donald Trump. Now, that really worries them, because you can find various pieces in the media today. Oh, my God, this Bevin guy. Do you realize what else he did? He tied himself to Trump. Do you know what that means? That means that Trump was a factor in his win. Oh, my God. Because they still don't think Trump is real. They still don't think Trump's real. They don't think Ben Carson's real. They don't think either of those two people are serious or even going to be around. So Carol Costello and Dyke have this little discussion about the Trumpster's impact, if any.
You wrote this op-ed calling Mr. Bevin Kentucky's Donald Trump. Do you really believe Kentucky voters elected Bevin on bluster?
Not just on bluster. Bevin does have some good ideas, but the fact remains that he contradicted himself frequently on the campaign trail, and he did resemble Donald Trump in a lot of ways during the campaign. Bevin never closely embraced the establishment. He didn't operate off a usual political script. He was saying things that would have been considered outrageous from more conventional candidates, and he used a lot of his own money.
See, so for liberals who live in a bubble and everything outside that bubble may as well be another planet to them, this is all terrifying. They think Trump is just bluster. And the only reason people like Trump is because he's braggadocious and he's a character. He's a personality. Yeah, he has big hair, does all this stuff. He's not a real guy. He's a caricature, he's a cartoon figure, and people like cartoons. And then they see this guy winning the governorship, and it causes a reality check. Because they just can't believe. They will never accept that any Republican wins on issues. When you boil it all down, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where you go in the media, Democrat Party, anywhere on the left, when we're talking about Republican wins, it is never about issues. It can't be, because their issues are the only issues there are. Our issues are kookism, quackery. So it has to be other things. It has to be blustery, personality. It has to be mind-numb robot voters, brainless and brain-dead, influenced by the likes of talk radio and who name it. But it's never issues. This little conversation continued here. Bevin and his complaints and campaigning against Obamacare came up.
He also talked a lot against Obamacare. Did that also put him over the top in Kentucky?
Well, there's no doubt President Obama has alienated Kentuckians of both parties with Obamacare, with coal issues, and on social issues. A lot of people are experiencing premium increases under Obamacare. I think perhaps more importantly was the gay marriage issue, which was focused on Kentucky nationally when Kim Davis, the clerk in Rowan County, refused to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Bevin was quickly on the scene there to take her side.
That's another thing. They can't believe that. They can't. Somebody supported Kim Davis. One? Like, Kim Davis she's racist, she's a bigot, she's a blustery fool, she's dangerous. Can't believe anybody sidle up to her and then win. It does not compute with them. They are that detached, folks. I don't know how else to say it. They are that distant from reality. They live in their own virtual world where Charlie Rose is shocked to learn that Hillary Clinton has lied about the video being the reason Benghazi happened. He has never heard any other explanation. He has never heard that Hillary Clinton's told 2 or 3 different versions of the story, depending on who she's talking to. So Marco Rubio comes along and calls Hillary a liar, is exposed as a liar, and Charlie thinks that Rubio's practically committed a crime. That's a very serious charge, Senator. Accusing Hillary Clinton of lying? Rubio is incredulous. He's talking to a guy who has no clue. Now, how can it be that one of America's most acclaimed journalists has no idea? And it's not just Charlie, it's all of them. They have no idea other than what they report and the things that they discuss with their friends and so forth. They have no idea. Matt Bevin, I guarantee you, to them, may as well be an alien. And he's never going to be treated as the winner. He's never going to be treated as serious. He's always going to be treated as an asterisk, as a freak. The election was an upset. It was not real. There's something in it that they don't yet understand, but they'll get to the bottom of it to explain this. But it certainly isn't real. That's the way they rationalize these things. They never lose on issues. They always get cheated or fooled their voters on some other thing that happens.